Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Do I have to turn it on?
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Yo, let's do it, man. Bro, showing the hurt.
Check 1 2 1 2. Check 1 2.
Mic test. Checking 1 2 3.
Checking. How's that? Okay, very good. Now I gotta move that over. Now I know what it feels like to be a city council member with this special microphone. Yeah, maybe. I'm joined this morning by my co-presenter, Michael Curran, who is the president and publisher of the Ottawa Business Journal, our premier business media outlet. And I just want to take a moment, Michael, during this very busy season in our business community to say, as an economic partner in our city, we're always talking about how important it is to calibrate the story of Ottawa and to make sure that the real information is getting out, and you are a key part of that with all of the products that you do, including the most recent OBJ Insider. So thank you for your leadership. We are thrilled to be gathered here today in City Hall in beautiful downtown Ottawa. Ottawa is built on unceded Algonquin and Anishinaabe territory. The peoples of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation have lived on this territory for millennia. Their culture and presence have nurtured and continue to nurture this land. We honor the peoples and the land of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation. We honor all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis peoples and their valuable past and present contributions to this land. I want to say thank you to the team here at City Hall for welcoming us here. As you know, Rogers TV does record our events, but we're not live today. But they will be aired on Cable 22 later today, and then again tomorrow. So I really want to thank all of you for being here. I don't know how many business events I've attended over my lifetime, but I still get super excited when I see all of you networking and talking, and business leaders meeting new business leaders, and I just know that there's a synergy there that is really the foundation for the future of our city. So I'm very grateful to each of you for making the time to be here, because I know your time and energy is precious. I want to say a special welcome to our board members at the Ottawa Board of Trade, Ruby Williams from Deloitte and Julie Lupinacci from Hydro Ottawa. Thank you both for your steadfast leadership. I would like to acknowledge our OBOT ambassadors, Linda McCallum, John Nelson, Monica Hailstone, and Walter Noble, who are here today to welcome our members and help make sure that they're getting the most out of their membership. So thank you for being here as well. And of course, a special welcome to our guest speaker today, Eric Hoffman, who is the president of Live Music Nation. We're so happy to have you here in Ottawa, and thank you for your investment in our downtown and our city and our region. We're so excited to hear what it is that you have to say. And I would be remiss not to give a shout out to Bill Leonard, who is here, I think, from, where are you, Bill? Bill Leonard from the NCC, also for the contributions that you've made to our downtown and the great work you're doing at the NCC. Thank you so much. I think sorry, I didn't mean to cut off your applause there. I want to welcome Councillor David Hill. Thank you for being here this morning as well. And to acknowledge our pillar partners who are here this morning, Enbridge Gas and Deloitte, for your constant support of the Board of Trade. The Board of Trade, as the voice of business and a key economic stakeholder, our mission is to have a thriving world-class business community. We do that in part by convening at meetings like this, by advocating on your behalf for policies and for priorities that create a competitive business environment that drive affordable, sustainable, and inclusive city building. I just want to say quickly, congratulations and thank you to the mayor. At the last meeting we had here, and you had released a joint statement with the mayor of Gatineau, and we really appreciate that leadership and collaboration. That's something that we embody at the Board of Trade, and that we think is the future of transforming our downtown and building a economically prosperous city. So thank you for doing that. And then also for hosting us at a kickoff for Small Business Week. So this is Small Business Week in Ottawa, and as we all know, small businesses are the cultural and economic backbone of our country and our city. So just by, I'm not going to make you stand up, I was going to make you stand up, but just by show of hands, how many folks in this room are an entrepreneur or an employee of a local small business? Okay, keep your hands up. And how many of you have a friend, family member, or neighbor who is an entrepreneur and employee of a small business? Okay, and then finally, how many of you understand that a thriving small business community is the important part of our city? Great. Okay, give yourselves a round of applause. So it's a busy time in Ottawa for Small Business Week. Just last night, actually, we hosted with our friends at Ecobia and Invest Ottawa and BDC and Excellier, I think are here again this morning. We had the chief economist for the BDC, and he really did have some great news about how the opportunities for small business to grow, particularly in 2025. So we're very excited about those opportunities and encourage everyone to buy local, promote local, and really support our local entrepreneurs. So I think then, as we kick off, we're going to say thank you to all of the sponsors and organizations that make this possible. This morning, our lead sponsor and presenting sponsor is Hydro Ottawa. We also have RBC, the Weston Ottawa, Algonquin College, Edelman, Commissionaires Ottawa, Enbridge, Ottawa Senators Hockey Club, our global partners Oakwood and Casino Lac Limi, our audiovisual partner Ottawa Print Services, our gift sponsor, Eamon Hardin, our coffee sponsor, very important sponsor, Capital Office Interiors, and our breakfast sponsor, La Cité. A big thank you to all of our sponsors for bringing us here together today. Now, in a moment, I am going to introduce our presenting sponsor, and today we have Hydro Ottawa and their Chief Financial Officer, Jeff Simpson, who's going to give us a few words of welcome. But before I bring, where are you, Jeff? Actually, why don't you come and join me? So Jeff is going to give us a few opening remarks, but before you do that, I do want to make one special announcement. As many of you know, we are soon hosting the Best Ottawa Business Awards, and some time ago, we struck a committee, including Ian Sherman, who's here today, and Andrew Roy, who is representing Deloitte, and they've been working for many weeks on working on who should be our 2024 CFO of the Year, and we've had many wonderful candidates, but we were pleased to inform Jeff just yesterday that he is going to be the 2024 CFO of the Year. So, on behalf of all of us, OBJ, the Board of Trade, we just want to say congratulations and thank you for all the contributions you're making to our community. I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Su Ling and the Board of Trade for bestowing this great honor on me. I know you all join me in thanking the staff at the Westin for our delicious meal tonight. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the wrong speech. There we go. So again, thank you, Su Ling. I'm here to speak on behalf of Hydro Ottawa this morning, just for a couple of minutes. We are the presenting sponsor. Your Worship, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Hoffman, and guests, bonjour. As the presenting sponsor, I've been asked to say a few words about the company. In preparation, I thought to myself, what can I tell you that you don't already know? And in fact, there may be a few things. Let's start with our heavily regulated electricity distribution arm. We are the local monopoly in that regard. Most of you and your businesses are part of our 364,000 customers, like it or not. I do hope your love-hate relationship with your local utility leans more towards the love. If not, operators are standing by. So I'm not here to convince you to become a customer, or am I? As a start, let me give you my frame of reference for Hydro Ottawa. I started working at Hydro Ottawa over 15 years ago, and I'm now the CFO. I was born and raised and schooled and careered and familied in Ottawa, always been in Ottawa. So long before I was an employee, I had an appreciation that the electrical system in this town, I thought, worked pretty well. Back when the job opening came to my attention, I thought, how hard can it be? I quickly learned it can be pretty damn hard. You customers are tough, and rightfully so. Your businesses and lives can't function without the commodity we distribute to you. And as valued as it is, sometimes you get prickly about its cost. We are at a pivotal moment in history. Pause for dramatic effect. Climate change and the energy transition are transforming not just our city, but our world. Before May 2022, nobody knew what a derecho was, including us, but we do now, and we'll never forget. Local tornadoes and ice storms in April weren't a thing, and now they are. At Hydro Ottawa, we're rising to this challenge by investing in critical infrastructure and building the grid of the future. This means hardening our stations and our power lines. Beyond the need to increase our reliability, the electrification of everything requires us to expand our connections to the provincial grid. Historically, we've averaged one new major station every 5 years. Our current forecasts are one new major station every year for the next 5 years. This will come at a cost. It's a significant acceleration of our infrastructure development, and it's essential to accommodating our community's evolving energy demands. Grid modernization is not a simple upgrade, it's a transformation. We're building a grid that's resilient, intelligent, and capable of seamlessly integrating renewable energy resources. Imagine a system that empowers you, the customer, to actively participate in energy management. This is the future we're creating. And Hydro Ottawa is not only the local electricity distribution company. Our subsidiary, Portage Power, is the largest municipally owned producer of green power in Canada, with run-of-the-river hydro sites across Ontario, in Quebec, and in New York State, as well as landfill gas to energy and solar installations. Our flagship sites are right here at Chaudière Falls. If you haven't been to see the Ring Dam at Chaudière Falls, I recommend it highly. It's beautiful. Its beauty is only matched by its historical significance. Tell them Jeff sent you and they'll waive the entry fee. Actually, I'm kidding. They won't. I'm kidding again. There is no entry fee. There was a time I advocated we should have one, but that didn't survive. So I guess just enjoy. Okay, now I'm going to try and sell you some stuff. Our energy service subsidiary, Envari Energy Solutions, is ready to help your business with the energy transition through building assessments, retrofits, EV charging readiness, and so much more. Provider, EBU is your viable local alternative. Even if you are happy with your current provider, EBU can be your option for critical backup and business continuity. That's EBU with 2 O's, and yes, there is an owl in the logo in the marketing. We're very clever. Again, operators are standing by. In closing, Hydro Ottawa is not your parents' utility as I thought it was 15 years ago. We're a diverse, growing, and innovative group of complementary companies involved in a wide range of clean energy projects and partnerships, helping customers lower their carbon footprints, reduce energy consumption, utilize more locally sourced renewable energy. We believe that together with you, our valued, if still captive customers, we can shape Ottawa's energy future. Merci, and now I hand it back over to Sue Ling.
Thank you, Jeff. That was fantastic. It is now my pleasure to welcome to the podium His Worship Mayor Mark Sutcliffe.
Thank you, Suling. Bonjour tout le monde. Bienvenue à l'Hôtel de Ville. C'est vraiment un plaisir de vous accueillir ce matin. Welcome to Ottawa City Hall for the latest edition of the Mayor's Breakfast. And I'm really happy to be joined by my colleague from Ottawa City Council, David Hill, who's here today. And today's a special day for David because it was 2 years ago today, October 24th, 2022, that David was elected to City Council. It's the second anniversary of the election. So welcome, David. Coincidentally, it's also 2 years ago today that I was elected mayor. So yeah, so thank you for the honor of being your mayor. And it's so great to see so many people here this morning for this event, so many familiar faces, so many leaders in our community as always, and also some great representatives of the music industry in our city are here today. And I want to apologize to all of you for doing this as a breakfast, because I know it's really early in the morning for you. You're nightlife people, our nightlife commissioners here too. You know, you're used to being up until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, not going to breakfast events. So, you know, I'm sorry that this is a breakfast, but I'm really glad that you're all here this morning. We are very excited to welcome a hometown product to the Mayor's Breakfast today, a guy who's done really well on the national and international stage, but is very much an Ottawa guy. Eric Hoffman is a remarkable individual who has had a huge impact on the music industry, on the entertainment industry, and on our city, and continues to have an impact on our city. We're going to talk about that in our conversation this morning. Eric is, of course, the CEO of Live Nation Canada, which puts him at the forefront of the music and live entertainment scenes in our country. He joined Live Nation in 2004, relocating to Vancouver to take over the legendary Commodore Ballroom and do the booking there. And he's booked tours and produced special events for some of the most critically acclaimed acts in the world. He's been connected to Adele and Drake and Arcade Fire and the Tragically Hip and Mumford & Sons, Zach Bryan, Jack White, just to name a few examples. So he's had a remarkable career. And he's been involved in festivals and events and venues all across our country. Live Nation Canada, of course, brings world-class performances to our city, to Ottawa. There's some coming up in the coming weeks and months that we'll be talking about. He's also been involved in cultivating local talent, and he really is committed to his hometown and to supporting Ottawa and investing in Ottawa, and we're very excited about that. So I'm really looking forward to exploring Eric's journey and talking about the future of the music industry, particularly here in Ottawa. So please join me in welcoming the CEO of Live Nation Canada, Eric Hoffman. So you know, it's kind of funny we have somebody here from the entertainment industry and we have an audio-visual challenge, but here we go. I think we're going to be using these different microphones today.
This is like some sort of Price is Right kind of thing going on here.
Okay, let's improvise.
There
We're
we
going to
go.
move the
It's fitting. I
table.
was a sound person in this town for a long time.
Yeah.
So
Just scooch over to the,
I'm
you
just
know, to
going
the
to head
table a
behind the
little bit.
console here.
Yeah. Eric, thank you. Thank you so much for doing this. Welcome back to Ottawa. Welcome back to your hometown. You went to Maryville High School.
Oh God, I haven't talked about that in a minute.
Let's hear about it. Let's hear about
I did go to Maryville High School.
your childhood
and I have
and
some
youth.
stories about Maryville High School that I didn't really realize when I was there. And I should say that I started my career at Maryville High School, and then I ended up on tour very, very early in my life. And so I switched to a place called Elizabeth Winwood so I could complete my high school by way of faxing my homework every morning from the road. So that worked pretty well for a while. But yeah, Maryville was, you know, it's not an art school. It's a fairly standard Nepean high school that I went to. But something must have been in the water there, because I learned later that there's actually quite a number of us that still occupy the corners of the music business that went to that school. Some very significant agents, one of the managers for the weekend, some high-level executives in the label industry in America. And I didn't think it was in the curriculum, but I guess we all sort of found some common ground.
All those people went to Maryville High School?
They did, yeah.
Okay, wow.
So
what a time.
I don't think that Maryville High School knows that, but we'll head on back
shortly. You need a documentary or something
Yeah, I don't know what
to
happened.
dig into that. But what do you remember about growing up in Ottawa? Because I always talk about how different Ottawa is today from the city that I grew up in. This is my hometown as well, and I feel like Ottawa is a much more exciting and vibrant, a lot more music, a lot more entertainment, a lot more cuisine. You know, it's a different city from the one that you and I grew up in.
I think it's a grown-up city in that way for sure, but I don't remember it not being vibrant. I remember it shaping me in a very significant way as it relates to exposure to music early. I went to many Joe Riley booked tulip festivals and all those early. My folks were big on taking in jazz festival and you know, Mark's early blues festival versions, and we just. I even went to. I remember going to the Penguin Club for an early, like what must have been an all ages event. So, and my folks would have exposed me to some early blues music there. But I just I don't think I think that we always had it. We're just sort of elevated into a new territory here. Certainly on the restaurants and hotels and everything else that supports our industry, it feels very, very grown up. But yeah, growing up, I took in a lot of cultural events, and it really shaped who I was and what my interest was in music moving forward.
And what sparked that interest? How did you get interested in the music industry? How did you start working in the business?
Yeah, so I'm one of the, you know, I'm one of the sort of lifers in it. I've only ever had a music job. I had some opportunities very early in my life to work. I worked at a radio station called 54 Rock at the time.
I remember
on the
that.
AM dial.
Yeah.
Ottawa's best rock on the AM dial, and then as a intern in the engineering department, and then eventually I worked at a recording studio in the market. There was this studio called Sound in One Hand that was based around this band Furnace Face, the alternative band that I ultimately ended up working for. But there was also some great records recorded there, like Ian Tamblyn and some folk records. And you know, I was 15 years old, changing big old 2-inch tapes and pouring coffee for folks. And an owner of a venue, he came in. He must have been visiting somebody, and assumed because I was behind the console that I knew what I was doing, and offered me a job. And a few days after I turned 16 years old, I was the house sound person at a little place called The Pit, which was a good name. And that was at Dalhousie and Rita in a pit, quite literally. And so it's a bit full circle in that it's about a city block away from where we're planning this new project. And so yeah, that just got me on the road. I just got an early start. I ended up on tour, and I had lots of different jobs as a front of house sound person to a tour manager, and got myself sort of up to Toronto and then around the world at a very young age.
Yeah, and you've done some amazing things. So let's talk about this new venue in Ottawa that you're planning at the corner of Rideau and Sussex, the old Chapters building, working with the National Capital Commission, which is great. Can you give us an update?
Yeah, the update is that we're buttoning up a few last minute things on the paperwork, and then we'll start making a whole bunch of you know, we'll start destroying things next month, and
Swinging the sledgehammer?
and getting it into fine form with the plan to open at the end of 2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a year from now.
It's ambitious.
Brand new space in Ottawa.
Yeah, one might argue an overdue space.
Can you describe what it's going to be?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a continuation of you know, this model that we launched in Toronto and a few other cities, but really more notably in Toronto, a venue called History that is mostly a general admission floor, but sort of state-of-the-art, you know, production and just a nice place to go to with some seating upstairs in the mezzanine and some boxes. And so it's been a model that a lot of music fans really, really have loved. It sort of was more popular in Europe for a while, and then it's come to North America, and just kind of the best of like a soft seat theater, but with the kind of soul of a nightclub. And so the capacity will be about 2,000, and we feel like it's going to be hugely successful here.
So in comparison to other venues, what will be different about this one? It's going to be more of a flexible space, right?
Yeah.
And you can have an event where everybody's standing up and dancing, or
Yeah.
you can have an event with seating.
Exactly. So, you know, we have the National Arts Center here has all kinds of content, but a traditional soft cedar proscenium theater, and then you have, you know, a series of clubs that have popped up over the years that are kind of, you know, your traditional rock club kind of setting, and we really feel like this is the best of all those worlds, where you have a very premium space to go to that has the flexibility to be seated for a comedy show, or will be, yeah, everything like that you would see in hip hop or rock, and with big GA floor, and then you get some, you know, snobbier folks like myself that like to sit upstairs and just kind of watch, because I'm not into the, you know, I'm not in the pit anymore these days.
Yeah. And what made you decide on Ottawa? Because you know, you have history in Toronto, you have other venues. What made you decide to invest in Ottawa, now, to choose the Byward Market, to choose that location?
Well, there's a lot of, well, first of all, you could quickly answer back at you and say, why not? Like, why? It's a bit of an Ottawa thing to ask. Like, why are you coming here?
It is, yeah. It is, yeah.
I say that respectfully. But it's true. We have this thing here where it's like, why would you come here? Why would you, you know, start a dance festival here or whatever? And, you know, and it's because this is some of the best bands in the country. That's a fact, and I can say that with great expertise. They take in a lot of shows. Like, look how many people go to the Blues Festival. Look how many people go to all these other events. We have a thriving arena business here. Like, why would we not invest here? It's quite clearly a segment that's missing from the market in terms of venues. It's situated between Toronto and Montreal, so it's not sort of out there, you know, in Saskatoon, where it's hard to sort of, you don't have artists already in the region. And also the economy here, like, you know, one of the things that gives you the cues early is when you see restaurants popping up, you see creativity coming to life in other segments, neighboring segments of the business, and tourism, and all the things that we do, you know, that we've witnessed in Ottawa. And you sort of say, something's going on here. Like, this is the time, and it is a big investment. But it feels like, you know, there's some stars align. It's the perfect spot. It's a beautiful location. It's a location that I bought last minute Christmas gifts at when I was living in the market. But it's also, I guess maybe I lived in the market and certainly worked in the market during what it might have been considered like the heyday at the time. And I think that we want to see that revitalized. It's an unbelievable thing to visit, and when it was in full form, it felt like as good as any international city. It was like a hub of restaurants and entertainment, and it can absolutely be that again.
I agree. What, you know, you called me out on this question. Like, what is you've lived in Ottawa and then you've lived elsewhere. Why do we have this? Why do you think we have this complex, and why do we still have this image issue to overcome, even though there's a lot of great things happening in the city? We have amazing music, we have amazing nightlife, wonderful restaurants. Why are we still struggling with that image question?
I don't know why that is. It is a thing, though. It's, you know, if you, there's this disproportionate amount of crew members in our business from Winnipeg, okay? I don't know why. It's just a thing. And they, you know, you will see more waving the flag of Winnipeg, like with, you know, some Jets paraphernalia or something like that. It's terrible, actually, to listen to. But there's, and from Newfoundland, and there's, and I'm not suggesting that there is great pride here, but there was this, I think when you're in proximity to a major center, you grow up and you think, okay, I'm a creative person, or I'm the leader in my industry, and I'm going to move to Toronto, or I'm going to move wherever, and that has some effects on the market and the psychology. And when I see restaurateurs and musicians and folks like that staying here now, that's a great sign. That's like, you don't have to leave here. There's no reason to. It's a great city. I'm reminded of it every single time I come back. And so I don't know where the complex comes from, but it's a real thing where, you know, it's like, oh, there's nothing going on here. And then if you say something about Ottawa, they're like, well, hold on, you know. But I just think it's turning the corner as a very serious market with lots to offer, and it's a beautiful city, and hopefully folks get over that weird complex.
Yeah,
But you know,
absolutely. What can we do to grow the nightlife economy here, to grow the music business? It's great, it's thriving, but I think we can always do more. We want to do more. We want that to be a rapidly growing part of our economy. So what advice do you have for us?
well, the music business here already works together, and that's very unique to Ottawa. Like that's a very, look at this even here today. Like, you know, like you joked about it's 8 o'clock in the morning and you have a lot of people representing and they're together, and there's this sort of this feeling of moving ahead together. There's already the music business here, and there's already some kid in high school that will create something super great. You know, I have no doubt in my mind. Cities always ask, what can we do? And there's, you know, this funding and all the things that are obvious answers, like put money into the arts. But really, it's also like get out of the way. Like let's not have a bunch of policy and kind of irritating, outdated bylaw get in the way of what, like if you really want to be a music city, like you're actually serious about it, then it's like, let's not get hung up on, you know, the things that irritate creators. And that's, you know, way too much policy, way too much red tape to do anything. And that was traditionally a problem here. I think it's changing now. I mean, there's more exciting events than ever, but that's what to do to help, is just set the table that it can actually happen. So start with that. And then, you know, and then just watch the creators do what they do and the producers do what they do. There's enough talent here. There's no doubt about that.
Amazing, yeah. And it's interesting you say that, because the building that you're moving into, the chapter's location at Rideau and Sussex, when you and I were kids in Ottawa, you know, stores were not allowed to open past 6 o'clock, and it's because of chapters moving to that site that they changed the rules to allow businesses to open past 6 o'clock on weeknights. So, you know, again, in terms of getting out of the way and removing obstacles.
We got to do a bit better than that, but yes.
Yes, yeah. You'll be open till, you know, 7:30.
We'll shut her down at 8 o'clock sharp.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of the industry and this new venue, I know a lot of people asked initially, because you have venues and you also do a ton of programming.
Yeah.
People were asking, well, is this new venue going to be just for Live Nation events? And it's not, right?
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, I mean, obviously we're building it, and we're going to be responsible for, you know, waking up every morning thinking about things to do to program it, but no, quite the opposite. It will be an open venue. It'll be for local promoters. You know, I'll try to see if I can, you know, bait Mark in there for some blues festival kickoff or something of that nature, or Sean, an independent promoter here that used to work with me. We hope that, you know, he'll do his shows there, and yeah, it's not really a model that we're not the only creative people around, so we want to create a venue that is has a bunch of soul in it and feels very welcoming for other promoters to use.
Can you talk more broadly about the spaces that we have in Ottawa and the future spaces we're going to have, and how that positions us for the future? Because you bring lots of events through the city, and you know, what are your thoughts on that?
Time. I mean, you're on the doorstep of what maybe you know, not one but two on the large venue size, two arenas coming into play, which is just fantastic. It's the idea of having options and having this, you know, small arena, big arena, you know, with our partners at OSEG and Ottawa Senators, it's you know, that's very, very great for a market of this size. It also probably means that there will be more sports tenants and all kinds of things happening in the two arenas. So that is also, like, the fact that investment is on the doorstep is says to operators like us, yeah, we're in this together. We're gonna invest downtown. We're gonna invest in the market. We're gonna, we're gonna sort of hold hands with everybody willing to spend money. And then, yeah, I'm hoping that this is the beginning of a kickoff for some folks to ideate new small clubs, and hopefully in the market or in other sort of hubs that you've created, so we have music fans coming to these areas just in general, and as a regular occurrence as opposed to just a special event.
And tell us where the music industry is going, because it's changed a lot in recent years. So what's your assessment of the health of the music industry now generally, and the direction it's going? What can we expect to see more of in the future, less of in the future?
Yes, so fans, the relationship with live music has definitely changed. They have something is whether you can point to social media or you can sort of speak about like the experience economy and topics like that on how people interact with experiences versus buying a home first thing that they do, like as opposed to traveling and going to concerts. And something has definitely has changed. We, as an industry, had a record year last year, and then this year will eclipse that. And so it's not specific to Ottawa or Toronto or even sort of North America, but it's just what music fans are doing. They have a deep emotional connection to music. They can hear it and listen to it anytime, any place. There's certainly some FOMO going on when you're staring at a device and I'm like, oh, I would have loved to, I wish I got an Oasis ticket or, whatever. So it's changed the landscape, and for so for artists, it's been an unbelievable bunch of years, and people are consuming the live experience at all levels. It's not just an arena and stadium bump, it's also at the club level.
I have this feeling like there's something sort of paradoxical going on, that the more that we can do things virtually, the more that there is a craving to get together and to be out and to be doing things.
Yes.
Do you think that's the case, that as people are spending more time kind of on Zoom and working from home, that has fed a demand for, assembling for music events, sports events, those kinds of things?
I think it's an interesting theory, and I buy into it. I mean, ultimately, we want to be together. We want to have experiences together, and yeah, when we're sitting in our, we're working from home, all day, then we definitely want to get out. It makes good sense. But because it's changed, I would say on the flip side, because things have changed internationally, and there's more and more markets that have popped up as options for artists, it's also become extremely competitive. If you're your Coldplay or your Imagine Dragons or your Springsteen, and you have all the options in the world to go to. And in South America, there's way more markets than there ever has been. And in Australia, there's more markets than there has ever been. So it's thankfully as Canadians, we kind of punch above our weight as fan bases. But that is the thing that we're keeping a close eye in Canada to make sure we get that the arenas and venues are top notch, so that we can attract them to continue to come here.
How do you see the industry changing in the future, and how is technology playing a role in that? I'm thinking about venues like the Sphere in Las Vegas, and just how the experience is changing and how it's leveling up in a lot of ways.
You're definitely seeing some destinations like that where people will, the venue is almost as much of the attraction as the artist. Seeing technology on, there's an arena that just opened in Los Angeles that has all kinds of really, really interesting fan experience pieces and that have to do around technology. That, it all makes sense. It's just following that line. At the end of the day, though, it's all about the artist and the fan, and you can have all the technology in the world, but I like equally as much as when Jack White asked people to put their phone in these bags, or Dave Chappelle, and then you're just back to the original experience.
Right.
That's the flip side of it. Before, we were taking pictures of absolutely everything, every experience we were having.
Yeah, that's an interesting dynamic, right? Like I saw Bruce Springsteen when he did his Broadway show.
Yeah.
And they told everybody, you're not allowed to use your phones at all, except at this one moment when he'll tell you it's okay.
Yeah.
And then everybody took their phones out. There's something, like many things in life, the phone has improved our experience and but it's also become an obstacle to kind of just experiencing something live, right?
Well, how many times have you rewatched the experience that you went and filmed?
Yeah, and I don't tend to film things.
Yeah.
I see all these other people, and I'm thinking, so for example, the Christmas parades are coming up in Ottawa. They're all over the city. There's a wonderful one in Barhaven and David Hill's ward, and and there's one in Orleans. Yeah, so these Christmas parades, and I'm on the float, the City of Ottawa float in the Christmas parade, waving at people, and I see somebody recording the whole thing on their phone, and as I'm waving to them, I'm thinking, when are you ever going to watch this? When are you ever going to, on a Thursday night, you're going to say, you know what, there's lots on TV,
Yeah,
the World Series is starting tomorrow night, but I'm going to rewatch the Christmas parade.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch the mayor waving at me again. So I don't get it.
Allie, if you could get some footage, actually, so I could watch that, would be great.
But you know what I mean? Like what?
I don't know if I want to go.
But why are people doing that? Anyway.
I
yeah.
mean,
just enjoy the live
that's a much
experience.
lengthier conversation, I
Yeah.
think. But it is great to see when some of the music purists tell you to put it away. And
I agree.
It might be one of the most irritating things with the camera in front of you, the whole show. But I might be starting to sound my age.
Yeah. Anyway, just enjoy the experience. What's the coolest show? What's the most interesting show you've ever been to?
Oh.
Do you have any favorites on your list?
I mean, I've been very fortunate to be at a lot of cool shows. I'm also, people always talk about the underplay and like those big artists playing small venue,
Yeah.
which for sure, like we all love. I saw Prince play at Carleton University's bar here, which was crazy that actually happened.
When was that?
That was less than a full show, by the way. It was at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm sure there's somebody like Lynn Saxberg in here can verify, can back me up on this, that it actually, because people wouldn't even believe that happened. But he was at the time doing a lot of after shows and playing another 2-3 hours at any small venue after his tour stop at the rink.
Right.
And that in this city, that was without a doubt one of the most memorable things I've ever seen. I felt bad for the band being like, oh man, we have to do this again. But for me, I'm a fan of very big spectacles. So I love the big stadium show. I love the big festival, and I tend to gravitate towards those things. But I don't know that I could answer you the one. It's really, really tough, because I've been very fortunate to see a lot of cool things along the way.
Yeah. Anything you're excited about seeing in the future?
I'm always excited when Springsteen comes around, because some of these greats of all time, we don't have them all anymore. And so, I hear about like Bucket List and,
Yeah.
And I encourage people to try to get out and see it, because, I don't know how much, I don't know that anybody's declaring that this would be his last Ottawa stop, but I can't imagine that we'll see the E Street Band in the same way here in Ottawa again. So shows like that, I'm like, I make sure that I don't miss. I saw like an amazing Stevie Nicks show too recently in the same sort of breath. But then there's nothing better than seeing like, Canadian bands sort of wave the flag pretty high on the Canadian bands, graduate out of the clubs, and when they make it to, this last summer we have the Budweiser stage, our amphitheater in Toronto, and it's long been the sort of first big play for a lot of Canadian acts, the sort of first out of Massey Hall and the Beaches amazing band from Toronto, like would have had their first show there, and those are the type of things I look forward to the most. It's like the kind of first time on the big stage.
Yeah. Bruce Springsteen, November 9th at Canadian Tire Centre.
You have tickets?
I do.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Looking forward to that. Yeah, I think there's sort of a whole generation of artists that are touring that you kind of have to ask the question, is this my last chance to see them in Ottawa, right? So you have to take advantage of it when you can. What do you hope for, as a guy who grew up in Ottawa, who still cares about the city, who's investing in the city, what do you hope for Ottawa's future?
Well, I hope that it continues on the trajectory that it's on. I hope that that this is the first step, besides the big investment on new arenas and our very big investment on the club level or large club level. I'm hoping that is a bit of like a flare in the sky for other people to invest here, and that fans, they don't have to go up the 401 every time they want to see a big show, and they can see it right here. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Right on. Excellent. Eric, thank you so much. We're very proud of you as a hometown guy who has done amazing things with his career, and we're grateful that Live Nation does so much in our city and is going to do even more in the future. Very excited about this new venue and looking forward to being at the opening within 15 months or so.
Do you have any requests?
For a big show there to start with?
You have any requests? You can do it now. There's a few people here.
And does anyone want to shout out an idea for the first show?
Oh, yeah, that's an easy one.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Who said that?
We've made it so far without talking about Taylor Swift, so let's,
okay,
anyway. Anyway, this has been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you.
Eric Hoffman.
Good morning, everyone. Michael Curran from the Ottawa Business Journal. Eric, I want to take a moment to thank you for spending some time with us here today. I wrote down some notes here. The Pit, Merivale High School, The Rock. I knew you had Ottawa roots. That's very OG, though. It's fantastic. And by the way, Mark, I recorded the whole thing on my video camera. I'm going to watch it tonight again. Maybe not. Maybe not. But seriously, Eric, I think so many of us here in the business community and community leaders, political leaders at large, really want to see the local music scene take it to the next stage. And we're so excited to see this new venue come into play. It seems to fit right in the middle is what I was picking up in your in your comments here today. So I think it does stand to really lift the music scene to the next stage. So thank you very much for being here. Eric, I'm going to have Lindsay Moulton from Eamon Harnden come forward to present you with a small gift of appreciation. It's this one here. Okay. And we have a couple door prizes here. This is easier to do when I have a handheld microphone. Eric, I'm going to get you to draw a couple tickets, and then I'll announce them for the podium. The first is, oh, thank you. That's even better. Come this way. Yeah, this is great. This is great. So the first prize is for $200 in casino dollars from the Casino de la Colime, another great venue. Yeah. Stick around. You can pull one more for me, Eric. Thank you for doing double duty here today. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. So the recipient is Ian Fortuno. Is Ian with us here? Yeah. Ian, just come see us after. Brittany will provide you with that prize. The second, actually, we're going to have Ethan Rosenberg come up as well. Where's Ethan Rosenberg? Come on up, Ethan. This is a prize from the Ottawa Senators. And it's a hockey stick. There we go. It's a hockey stick right there. So you can, we'll get Eric to pull it, but you can present it. We'll take your photo here in a second. Just hang on there.
I just need to put my own business card in here.
And it's Eric Hoffman? No. Geez, that's quite a magic trick there. But seriously, the winner is Krista Burley. Krista Burley, come on forward, Krista. We'll take a quick photo. Let's get the hockey stick in that. Good win the other night by the Senators. As that's happening, let me begin our wrap-up here. So a couple OBJ items. First off, our CEO of the issue is out. Encourage you to pick that up. Our Eastern Ontario Business Journal, which is something we've been doing for a couple years, has its new fall issue, and there's actually a Kingston version of it called Kingston Business Journal that we're launching this afternoon in Kingston, so that's kind of fun. As always, please check out our Insider program. OBJ Insider is a new subscription program that many local business leaders are subscribing to. The next Mayor's Breakfast is on Thursday, November 21st. Mark your calendars. Another Ottawa success story, Michelle Boudria, the CEO of McDonald's Canada, will be speaking. So fascinating to see you, Eric, here, and then we she's providing breakfast too, but I don't know. Okay, I'm going to recognize our sponsors, and then I urge you to stick around for a couple minutes because we have one last special announcement. So as we wrap up, let me recognize our sponsors one more time. Our lead and presenting sponsors, Hydro Ottawa, also RBC, the Westin, Algonquin College, Edelman, the Commissionaires, Enbridge, the Ottawa Senators Hockey Club, our global event partner, Oakwood, Casino Lac Limi, our audiovisual partner, Ottawa Print Services, our speaker gift sponsor, Eamon Harnden, LLP, coffee sponsor, Capital Office Interiors, and our breakfast sponsor, La Cité. Maybe a round of applause for those people. Okay. As promised, one more special announcement, and these, as you probably have noticed, we're making some announcements of award recipients leading up to our big fall business gala called the Best Ottawa Business Awards, the Bobs. We heard from our CFO of the year. Thank you, Jeff, for being here today, a CFO with a sense of humor. Who would have thunk it? And now today we want to announce right now one of the major awards for the Bobs. The Lifetime Achievement Award was created in 2011 by the Ottawa Board of Trade and Ottawa Business Journal. The recipient is selected based on the following criteria: long-term business success with a significant economic impact in Ottawa, founding or leading a remarkable company, generating large-scale employment, creating wealth and economic development, a demonstrated ability to adapt, innovate, stay current, strong leadership that inspires others, a track record of taking leadership positions in the larger business community, a remarkable community involvement, and a legacy of community building. It's a long list of criteria. Our 2004 recipient exemplifies all of these traits. Let me tell you a bit about our recipient. The roots of the company he leads dates back, believe it or not, to 1900, when the company became an early supplier of. He's not that old. Sorry, Robert, that was a slip up. The company, 1900, the company was an early supplier of bricks to Ottawa's booming boomtown back then. The bricks were used in the early 1900s to build many neighborhoods such as the Glebe, Sandy Hill, Hintonburg. Our recipient was named president of this company in 1982 when his father retired. He modernized the company with new services and products. He grew the company's market share, established a trade show that became kind of a central focal point of the building trades and helped inform workers, educate them, promote employment opportunities. He volunteered for local business associations and led many of them, spending 27 years at the Greater Ottawa Home Builders Association. He also led the Ottawa Construction Association. His charitable pursuits are too many to fully list here, it would literally take 5 minutes. I'll note one of them in 2010, Rob, our recipient, established a new charity called the Ride the Rideau. He did that with Roger Greenberg and Claude DeRosier. Just to give you a sense of his economic and charitable impact, over 10 years the charity event raised $11 million and Robert's team raised $1.5 million. In 2014, the Association of Fundraising Professionals named him as the Outstanding Volunteer Fundraiser of the Year. On behalf of OBJ, the Ottawa Board of Trade, and our award sponsor, the Ottawa Senators, it's my great honor to share with you that Robert Merkley is the 2024 Lifetime Achievement recipient. Robert, where are you? Stand up, Robert. Stand up. Yeah. Robert's not taking the podium now. He will have the podium at the Best Ottawa Business Awards. And on that note, I just want to remind everyone that awards gala is coming up. We feel it's kind of the culmination of the business year in Ottawa. It happens on Friday, November 29th at the Westin Ottawa. Please visit ottawa.bot for ticket information. That's it for today. Merci beaucoup. Thank you for being here today. Robert and Jeff, come on up. We're going to take some photos. Thanks, everyone, for being here. Bonjour.